Hello, everybody. Welcome to another session here at the Kickpod Dojo. I am your host / sensei, TJ Williams, giving you an insight of my martial arts journey, discussing and analyzing martial arts based subjects, and highlighting martial artists past, present, and future. All right, so just to kind of clear things up, I hope the snow is done. I mean, I'm kind of sick of it. I mean, getting dropped. I mean, I don't want to get stuck in the street no more. But all bad stuff aside, I got a guest today. Of course, somebody that I know through competing, and of course I fought him a couple times. Even I got knocked out by him, not completely, but of course he
apologize for that.
Yeah, I'm still good. I'm still up.
Good.
But anyway, other than being a 2012 world champion, he is also owner of his own dojo, the Karadio Dojo, which is in Pennsylvania, if I'm not correct. All right.
Right, Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh man, 2-hour drive.
Yep.
All right, so let me introduce everybody to Todd Humes. So he decided to come and join me today and kind of talk about his story, his background about martial arts. So how we doing over there?
I am great. I just finished a great group fitness class, which is my bread and butter, Karadio. It's an 8 a.m. class. I had about 15 women. It was excellent today. So I'm fired up. I'm ready to go for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I did a body combat a workout this morning. I mean, I also trained in like fitness too. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So I'm also a fitness instructor too. So I know I can relate to like you can go out there teaching.
Yeah.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that later though. But
okay.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get in a time machine. So we're going to go straight up DeLorean. All right. That's my time machine right there.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. I actually stepped in that time machine one time and I fell. I mean, that was so low to the ground. But anyway, we're going to go back in time before things got started for you with martial arts. So, of course, I got the first question I got for you. Describe yourself before martial arts.
Oh, okay. So, well, I was only 2, TJ. I got my black belt and I was trained from my father. So he started me off at an early age. He went to some professionals and some doctors here in Erie, and he wanted to make sure it was safe to begin stretching. And at that time, stretching and all that was very loose in terms of knowledge base. And he started that, and that was in 1980. And he started teaching martial arts, and he was in a close group net with like Billy Blanks, and Billy Blanks originated here in Erie too, and so they were in the same martial arts studio. They come from the same instructor, Master Tom Myers, and so he had me starting right off at 2, and then by 84 I was competing.
Oh. Man, 84. I mean,
yeah.
I wasn't even around in 84. I was just coming around in 85. So, yeah. And it's real nice that you are you like really close to Billy Blanks, or you just like don't know him as well, but you like know him in general?
Well, at this time, not now, but like in the mid 80s and 90s, he was just coming up as one of the greatest sport karate fighters, in the country, and he fought on Team Atlantic and Team Budweiser, and, he started right here. So I got to see him at all the local events. And then, when I got my black belt in 86 here in Erie, there wasn't junior black belt divisions, and they didn't know how to handle it. They were big traditionalists here in Erie. So my dad knew that Billy was traveling. So we started to follow and travel with Billy to all the NASCA tournaments down in, like Lexington and Boston. And so I started to compete on a higher level, and that's kind of where it took off with me. But, I followed and watched and was inspired by Billy Blanks and my father, David Humes. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you grew up with karate. So definitely it's with you forever.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. So it's real nice that you actually got to travel with Billy Blanks, but this is before he got big with Taibo and everything.
Oh yeah, and then he had it, he branched off and had his school here in Erie, and then he went to Boston for a while, and started a school there. And then he did movies, and then, with the LA thing, and then Tybo kind of, and that's kind of where we, kind of like lost touch a little bit, when he started the movies and he was in LA and everything like that. But I mean, I stay in touch with him, and I follow all this stuff. And he mentions me once in a while on some of his podcasts and some of his videos. So it's kind of nice to hear that, especially the work that I put in here, and a lot of that was inspired from him and my dad.
Man, that's amazing. I mean, that's gonna be my one goal, my one dream. Actually, get him on my podcast.
That'd be great.
I've done a lot of his type of workout. I still got the DVDs that I got. So when I was coming up when doing fitness,
the DVDs or the VHS?
I had both.
Yeah.
So I had both of them. I had the VHS. I had like the beginner kind of thing, and then like when I got the DVDs, this is like pretty much advanced. This is around the time I was like started dieting and exercise. I was like skinny, so that was like one of the things I usually do for my structure for working out. So that'll be the type of. So that's my number one goal. If Billy Blanks is hearing this, I want him to be on my podcast.
Well, just put it out. Just put it out there, and it'll happen.
Oh yeah.
That's all. You just start. You start where you are now, and you start building, and it'll happen. You put it out there.
Yeah.
Just believe in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag him in every episode.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
All right, so here you are in martial arts. So can you think you can remember your first lesson, like when you first started at 2 years old?
Yeah. All I remember is my dad saying stretch time, and I'd be on my back, and he'd take my legs and just, literally like twigs, and just stretch them all the way out. And that's why, literally back 4, a nice side kick, nice roundhouse kick. And that was at first, I was a big kata guy in the early or the mid 80s and 90s before I became a fighter. And it all started right there, stretch time. So that's what I remember. I don't remember a specific lesson, but I remember stretch time.
Yeah, that was like the main thing, but for martial arts, you don't want to mess up those ligaments or those tendons, so you want to have a good stretch. Yeah. And I know how you mentioned kata. I'm more like attached to kata now because when I, of course, train in my own style, and I go to these tournaments like the Kumite Classics or the Smack Internationals, I actually watch people do their katas, and I was like saying these katas are similar to what I do, but they're like made differently. It's like that's something that I become attached to now.
Sure.
Yes. All right. So of course you have your first lesson. So after you had your few lessons, what would you say your mindset was? So of course you were competing. Then would you say you were going to get a black belt?
My mindset was always I wanted to be the best. My dad, I watched Billy. I watched my dad, and he put that fire in me every day. In terms of, kind of how I teach now, like that mind and body, like if I put in the work every day, because I know someone's out there training as hard as me, I got to train harder than that. And that was the mentality at age 4 or 5. And, I think of that a lot. And I think that was the key to that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course, can you train, or how many black belts would you say you have right now?
You mean in terms of students, black belts, or from myself?
Well, yeah, for yourself, like.
Well, I got my first degree in March 10th, 1986. So that was, that's 30 some years ago. But no, I'm a 7th degree in American Taekwondo, and then in our style, I know your style is Tung Sudo, correct?
Well, mostly Tuxedo or Chuck Norris system. So
yes, yeah. So I have my black belts in Tung Sudo, and originated from Tom Myers, but it came from like kind of like a version of like Budokan, and it was very more militarized, and so then then Billy came in with like the Taekwondo, and so we adapted that, and then we went straight sport karate, and then the last 15-20 years of my career, I've been just teaching freestyle sport karate.
Yeah, so I think that's like getting them ready for like competition, like what we did when it was Smack International and the Kumite Classics.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, when you do black belt testing, would you say when you tested in 1986, 1986. Would you say that's different than how we test for black belt today?
Okay, so I do, and I think I was more on that, like kind of like a personal training, more personable, because he was my dad. Man, he was hard. I mean, a little different, 30 years later with my dad and watching how he teaches now. But it was more of a grind, and I think it was more of an old school mentality then, where you could be a little bit harder then. But he's my father, so he could be hard on me. But yeah, I mean, it was vigorous, and I remember bits and pieces of my first degree test, and I mean, it was not just katas and not just fighting, but it was more mental and more static stretching capability of more discipline and more. It was just hard. I feel like it was harder then than it is now.
Man, I can relate. I mean, I can remember all my black belt testing, like especially my last one, my fourth degree test.
Yeah.
That was a killer. I mean, of course, this is my last physical test that I'm doing before I go for fifth degree. I mean, and then of course fourth degree, they wasn't taking it easy on me at all. I mean, other than worrying about like the stuff that I was required with, they add on stuff like really. It's like I wasn't expecting it, but I was ready for it. So I was willing to do it, even though I was like huffing and puffing like the big bad wolf. Yeah. So
nice. And so you go out to Vegas for that every year? Is that how that works, or is that something different?
Well, for like if we were testing for like first degree to fourth degree, like nowadays for first degree we test in our own schools because we broke up in regions. Like right now I'm in region 8, so we got 3 schools. We got of course my school in New York, and we got a school in there's another school in West Virginia and one in Boston. So if we're like testing for second higher, we have a choice of either like testing here or going to West Virginia or Boston. So my last test was in Boston, and it was a heck of a ride, driving like midnight to 7 o'clock in the morning. That Saturday, and then actually doing the test and going back home. So, I mean, that felt like.
But you did it.
Mm-hmm.
You did it.
And now I'm getting ready for fifth degree, which is,
nice.
Of course, I have to take 2 Master Development Series classes, and then from there, I go to Vegas. Once my my time is up, or should I say my requirements is done, I go to Vegas and get a black jacket, and after I do my performance with Fern Mr. Norris.
Oh, nice. All right. So that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, so hopefully next year I'll be going for mastering. So once I have everything done, I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
All right. So conventions, other than the ones that I mentioned before, the SMAC and Kumite, is there any other tournaments that you went to?
I mean, I've been on the Professional Karate Commission United States team twice. I've competed overseas. I've been to Swansea, Wales multiple times. I've been to the Super Grands, which is the National Black Belt League, and you know how that moves around from every year. So I've been across the country. I've competed a lot of that, but one that stands out is the 2012 National Black Belt League Super Grands, which was held at the Adams Mark in Buffalo, and that's where I won men's super heavyweight world title.
Yeah.
So that stands out the most for me.
Yeah, I almost forgot about the Super Grams. I mean,
Super Grand.
I don't think they're having that anymore, or they're just.
No, they're done. I think Boyce Liddell, the president of NBL, I think he was trying it out I think the year right before COVID hit, and he had it in his hometown, Jamestown, and it didn't. I don't think it went over so well, and then COVID hit, and then it just shut it down. And so I thought the NBL is dead.
And a good thing I actually had the opportunity to actually go to one Supergram, because of course, I seen a picture that up on the wall. I think it was like a banner. I think the
one in Buffalo.
Yeah,
they had quite a bit, and they had Supergrams in Buffalo quite a bit.
Yeah, the one thing I hate about when the Supergrams comes here is that it always snows.
It always snows. Yeah.
Yeah. it's like really, it's like, should you go to, I was just like trying to debate, should I go to Buffalo and actually duck and dodge the traffic as well as the snow, or just stay home?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always fun actually seeing those everybody compete. I mean, there's like,
Yeah, that's that's universal. You get to see so many different styles, so many different competitors. That one love for that art and the passion behind it, and then the friendships that you get, and the new ones and the old ones, and that competitive level is always high, and especially whether it's NBL or PKC or NBA or NASCA. You're going to always have that that friendship, and almost it's almost like a family, whether you see them once once a month, or once a year, once every 10 years.
Yeah, that's what I love about the those conventions. I mean, especially with my convention, I go to Vegas. I see different black belts, and of course they know who I am because I've been there a lot of times. And I was hoping to get like most inspirational last year, because that's we kind of have those special awards. So I was nominated, but I didn't win. I mean, however, I did win a trip back to Vegas.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Then you won.
Did you get like cage fighting once in a while, like MMA?
I did. I did. I actually had an MMA fight at Kumite Classic one year. So I didn't point fight the one year, and I had a fight in the cage, and I think it was called Cage Kumite, and it was the night after the Kumite Classic ended.
Okay.
So like the nighttime finals, and they were already setting up, the cage and everything, and yeah. So I had one amateur fight, and it was at Cage Kumite.
Yeah, I mean,
just to test it out, just to see if I could do it.
Yeah, I mean,
not my cup of tea. I like being on my feet. I like kicking. I like punching. I like moving. I don't like being on my back. I'll leave that to my brother, and he's great at it, but I like to stand. I like to be a stand-up guy.
Oh, speaking of your brother, I see he's been a champion on several occasions.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's so good. He was like 11 or 12. He got to go down to Carolina with me. I got him on a team, and it was like the PA team. It was like PA versus Carolina, Virginia, and he kind of like wowed everyone. And then I basically took him under my wing, and we trained night and day. I saw it. It was raw, which I love seeing someone that's raw, and you can mold that into greatness. I think that's the best start is when you see someone raw, but they have it, and he had it. And 2-3 years later, we went out to California, and he took like 3 world titles, and that was his first. I don't even think he was rated, so he was like a wild card, so he had to fight all the way up. And from there on, history. He's got like 8 or 9 world titles, and now he's an MMA fighter. He's a professional MMA fighter, and he's doing great in that.
I don't think I could do MMA. That's why I do pro wrestling. It may be scripted, but definitely we take punishment too. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's hard work.
Yeah.
And you love it, and it's an art.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I wasn't too big of getting trophies when I was competing. I'm lucky enough to get a trophy from each of the competitions I did. Of course, Kumite classes and SMAC. So, I mean, I'm glad to get a trophy. Yeah. And I didn't do too good with sparring. I'm not a fan of sparring. I just did kata, and of course, I got to do actually do tricking, or should I say, open competition.
Open. Yeah. Listen, I can't believe you opened up with me knocking you out. I still to this day felt bad from the moment that happened. So I apologize deeply from me to you, my man.
I mean, it wasn't intentional. No, I'm used to.
No, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just blitzing in. That's all. I promise.
Yeah. But, I got a couple points on you though. You just got.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, I've been taking beatings all my life, so I mean, I'm used to it. So I get knocked down, I get back up. So that's the concept. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right. So aside martial arts, of course, we're gonna get to your fitness background. So
all right,
let's go to the beginning for that. Before you had your whole karate studio and your fitness program. So what's the start of that? Like really?
It kind of goes back to the whole thing we were talking about with Billy Blanks, and just that love that, I felt like I had so much to give and so much to offer. And at the same time, where was the market at, and where and how to do that? And I was always big on myself in terms of intensity and figuring a way to be better internally and externally for me. So if I was doing that, how could I do that to other people and to help people's lives? And I came across fitness. This was in 2002. I started my fitness journey, and what was the only way to do that was mixing what I loved and adding fitness. And then 4 or 5 years down the road, it slowly just started forming and building into what now is Karadio, a mixture of group fitness, personal fitness, circuit training, plyometrics, kickboxing, karate, boxing, that high intensity, the motivational, the way, the mind and body way of life that I believe, what I breathe, and why can't I give all of that? So it took 3 or 4 years in the making, and then poof, Karadio.
Yeah, I can relate to that because of course, it sounds like the body combat. I mean, are you familiar with listening?
Yes. Yeah, I am. Yep, I am.
Yeah, it's like when I took the first class, like back in 2013, it's like I can pretty much do this. I mean, this is like basically every martial arts style put in this workout.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like 2016 I actually decided to go for training for like the body combat instructor. So 2 days of at least doing the master class. That was the first day, and then of course learn how to be an instructor. And it was a great experience. The thing I hated is like I had to do like after the training, I had to do like a video of me teaching.
So it's right after. Yeah.
Yeah, in which I should have passed the first, but I didn't pass it, so I had to do it again. And luckily I passed it on Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day, Labor Day. So right on Labor Day, I got certified like almost 6 years ago. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm going 6 years for being a body comic.
That's great, man. Yeah.
Like I said, I was doing it this morning because it was a new release coming out. So I'm trying to learn that, at least get back to doing teaching, because that was like something I really love to do. I mean, when I started becoming an instructor, man, not only I was teaching like where I was like in my normal gym, World Gym, I was teaching in like 5 other places. So I was pretty much the best at what I can do. So, yeah.
I want to touch base on some of with the whole Karadio thing. So I had a lot of trial and error with it. Outside of Karadio, I was the creator of Taekwondox. So I started with that, and this was right in the beginning of my fitness journey. I created Taekwondox, so it's like, Taekwondo in the water, karate in the water. And, it was geared towards, the elderly a little bit more for arthritis. And then, at the same time, I started training students, for that resistance, working on blitzing and working on kicking and working on balance and stretching and flexibility and all of that in the water. So I started with that, but I just couldn't find the right mix. So I had that, and then I went through a couple different things with like personal training, and it was like my calling is to bring a family together that, clients that didn't know each other or did know each other all at one, yet at the same time, they could feel like it was personal training. High intensity, yet we're all in it together. No matter what level you're in, you can do it. And so I worked and I really, to my best capability, mastered what I wanted out of Karadio, what I wanted to provide to people.
Yeah. And also kind of mentioned also doing Les Mills. Of course, when my gym switched to Crunch, I had to be certified in AFA. Of course, I think that's a substitution to like, or should I say that's a alternate of what you do. What is that NASP that you do?
The what?
The NISM is that's what you're
Oh,
certified.
NASM.
Yeah, NASM. Yeah, of course I got AFA. I mean, of course I had to do like a course, online course, and I had to do all these things like get
Yeah.
CPR certification. You know,
Yeah.
I've kind of preferred like Les Mills, or because you don't have to do any of those stuff. I mean, you just
Yeah.
get certified. You're certified forever, but with AFA, you gotta get certified every 2 years.
For every two, yes, every two. It's well, you know, and I think that goes to that, and I think it's like state to state is different.
Uh,
Yeah, like usually for my certifications, it's 2 years.
yeah. I mean,
And then on the side, you know, you can take other courses and get points for those for your, you know, for other certifications, whether it's, you know, like a cycling class or just a basic kickboxing class. I like to have those as well, just to have, you know, even though I have Karadio, I still, you know, if someone needs to, you know, look up my credentials, I want them to believe in me before they come to me. So at least I have those in my pocket.
yeah. And of course, other than teaching cardio classes, because you teach regular martial arts, right?
As of right now, that is my father's. But actually, starting in September, I am launching my Karadio Kids and my freestyle sport karate program here, where my dad actually is going to retire. We're keeping that hush hush right now, but I'm taking over his studio, so I'll be once again back at teaching martial arts.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much came attached to teaching martial arts. So at first, I didn't want to be an instructor because, you know, it's kind of, now I was in my shell. I didn't want to teach. I didn't want to be in front of people. But nowadays, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like I'm natural. It's like I create a show for these kids.
See that, you know, that's how I feel. I feel like whether it's kids or whether it's my Karadio fitness class, I feel like I want people, or I want my students, my clients, I want them to walk out and believe that they've just experienced something one of a kind, and then when they come back, they'll get something different, yet the same. Like that intensity's there. It's so unique. It's so like I want to put on a show. It's almost like you know, Maximus from Gladiator. Are you entertained? I want them not only to be entertained, but I want them to be blown away, and they feel inspired to where they can bring someone else in, and then I can help them change their lives as well. So I make every class. You know, you as an instructor, you and I think we're very similar in that terms, like giving not only 100%, 110% and beyond, so people will come back, and then you can inspire more.
Yeah, I think my one goal is at least trying to get my students to black belt. So, luckily,
Yes.
I mean, you know, you get them up to like that certain level, but you know, they end up quitting, and you know, of course, it's, you know, it's not sometimes our fault, but you know, it's like how it's like economy. It's like you can't pay for it, but you know, you want to come back and at least get your black belt. So
yeah, you know, and I think even though we're talking about this and we're talking about, you know, I guess money and the economy, but I think the best word that you need as an instructor, whether it's martial arts or fitness, I truly believe empathy. I think if you show care for each person, because each person's different, and I think we're in that business that you have to have that to be successful. I think empathy can go a long way.
I mean, really, yeah.
And
yeah, because we're pretty much in that struggle. I mean, if we can't make up the money or at least pay for something, I mean, at least we have that same sympathy, or we just try to figure out something. Yeah. All right, so we're almost at the Hidden Dojo segment of our interview. So here's the last one. What would you say? What's the inspiring quote or inspirational quote that would describe you?
all right. Well, this came a long time ago. I originally thought it was from my dad, and then, you know, of course, after watching the movies, but there's no tomorrow. Apollo Creed, Carl Weathers from Rocky III.
Yeah.
My dad would drill that into me. There's no tomorrow. So I had to get the best training session that day, Well, there wasn't a tomorrow. So I stayed on that. So I made every day the best I could, just in case if there was no tomorrow. So that sticks with me to this day.
Yeah, I can relate. Now I got to go watch Rocky 3 now.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Rockies. That and Rocky 4. I mean, hey, did you see the director's cut of Rocky 4?
You know what? I just saw it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like blown away. It was almost like a different film.
Yeah.
Like seeing some scenes, after watching it for 20, 30 years, and then seeing it in a different light. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, actually got to see the actual director's cut. I actually went to like a theater, and
nice.
Like before the show, it was like Sylvester Stallone having this interview, and then of course the movie show, and then yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that was something else. Like really, it's like honestly, I'm like used to the original because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I pretty much got almost a soundtrack on my playlist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I actually there's probably 4 or 5 songs from Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 that I did musical coda to throughout throughout the 90s.
Yeah. Mostly it's a score, Mike. I mean, the songs are good, like "I Had a Tiger," but the score is like him fighting Ivan Drago and All right, everybody, we're at the Hidden Dojo segment of our interview. So this is going to be a series of questions I'm going to ask Todd, and he's going to answer in his best of his ability. So here we go. The first question is the best piece of advice you ever gotten, and who said it?
All right. Well, can I use the same answer? There is no tomorrow.
Yeah.
There you go. There's no tomorrow.
Right. All right. Here's the next question. Usually people don't get this one. The worst piece of advice you ever gotten?
There's none. Good or bad, you learn from it. So you take it all in, and whether it's bad advice, you take it in, and I feel like you learn whether it's good or bad. So I truly don't. I don't have. I'd say that good or bad. There's no bad advice. You take it and you learn from it and you build off of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
Just like you have to fail, you have to succeed. I think they work together.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, all right. Guilty pleasure. How do you reward yourself?
How do I reward films? I love watching films. I'm a big film guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you got a lot of DVDs, or at least some.
I do. I do. I have quite a bit of DVDs. I have a nice DVD collection.
Yeah, I'm trying to minimize mine in the digital because I got a digital converter. So
yeah.
I mean, so I can get rid of all these DVDs and have more room for a lot of things. Yeah. I don't want to be drowned.
No.
Yeah. All right. What famous movie would you want to be in?
Well, we kind of touched on. I would say Gladiator, just because man, I would love to be Maximus.
Yeah.
Not what he went through, but the character. Yeah. I feel a part of me as Gladiator. Just what he had to go through, and then what he endured, and then what he conquered. And you could take that in anything that you've done in life. And that goes too for Rocky as well. Those two would be great. Even though I'm not Italian, man, I would have loved to have been Rocky. But so yeah, those two, and then of course Batman. I'd love to be Batman. So I'll give you 3: Gladiator, Rocky, and Batman.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Batman. I mean, I like to be the next Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next Michael Keaton battling Joker.
There you go.
Yeah, I grew up with that movie. That was the best Batman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that famous quote. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good one. All right, hidden talent. Or should I say?
Oh man, my hidden talent. I love writing poetry.
Oh.
I'm a poetry guy.
All right.
Yeah. If you got a second, you mind if I read a poem?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Well, this one goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about with martial arts. Let me pull it up here. I mean, if you don't mind.
Oh, we got time.
All right, here we go. All right, this one's called I Am King. I am king, I am lion, inspired by a dragon forged from the battles of Lake Erie. Fueled by past kings, Blanks, Plowden, Mafia's attack. I'm old, tired, scarred. My focus will not cease today. I'll protect my pride right here, right now. I stand on this rock one last time to conquer my destiny, my kingdom. Cross oceans, roam the deserts, a moment to those fallen, to my weapons. Stalk my prey, I pay respect, the ring, the opponent's prison. I will prevail. I am king.
Yeah, sounds like a fighting king.
It is, and I wrote this. And it was inspired by me winning the world title in 2012. I was getting ready to retire, and the last guy I fought, he was 18, up on the stage, and I was 34. So at 34, you're getting ready to go into senior division at 35. So I was pretty much done with the adult division. It was my last year of fighting as an adult. So I was almost off that cliff, and I looked at that moment, and I said I was going to prevail. I haven't won a world title. Will it elude me? Or will it not? And I came through with everything I had, and finally won the world title. And so that's where that poem comes from.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as like a instructor and as well as a fitness person, I want to be a fighting soldier. I want to be a king, but a fighting soldier. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to be standing behind my army. I want to be in front of them, fighting with them, and always have their back. So,
nice.
Yeah. So I like the sound of that quote. Really, that was like wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a good poem. Yeah. Just fighting king. I am king.
I am king.
Yeah, I'll just say that in James Earl Jones' voice. I'll be saying that all day. Yeah. I am king.
Yeah.
I am king. I am king. Yeah, that's at least my secret talent. I have voice impersonation.
Well, hey, that's a good one.
Yeah. All right.
Well, good thing you have a podcast,
All right, dream celebrity encounter.
Well, we've spoke of one, Sylvester Stallone, and I would deeply thank him, because outside of my father, I was inspired by the Rockies, and I was inspired by his story, and I was inspired by his writing, and there was so many tournaments. I competed every week. We'd be at a tournament Friday and Saturday, and then I'd be at another tournament on Sunday. And then Monday through Friday, my dad had me training. So the night before tournament, like Friday night or Thursday night, I mean, every tournament I would be watching Rockies to light my fire, to inspire me. And that went all the way into the 90s. And to this day, I mean, it's still part of me. I had a Gladiator a little bit to get me prepared and ready, but he's done so much for my life in terms of inspiration. So, yeah, it would be him. And then the other one would be Bruce Lee. I went out to Seattle, and I got to see his grave. And I've never experienced the energy that I had there. I actually, I gave Bruce my original black belt from 1986, and it was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life.
Yeah,
and the energy was all around. It was really amazing.
Yeah, the fact that when you talk about Sylvester Stallone, like one person I would probably like to meet, of course, his arch enemy in Rocky 3, Mr. T. Yeah,
Mr. T.
Yeah, I would like to at least meet him, because I was watching like his interview with David Letterman, as well as Larry King. Larry King pretty much got my attention, because he was like full of energy. He wanted to talk about like why he was Mr. T, and of course why he's so committed to God. And then he says that's the reason why I move forward, because God gives me the willing to go. And he said he wanted to accomplish his goals, and one of his goals was saying that he wanted to buy his mother a house. And with all the accomplishments, he did that. He made that goal. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty much met all celebrities that I can meet, but Mr. T is probably one that I want to at least make the encounter with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, make it happen.
Oh, it'll happen. If he's in Las Vegas one day, I mean, I'd be surprised. I mean, all right, here it is, the last one, last question. 10 years from now.
Karadio Global. That's it. I want Karadio being taught by other people across the country, across the world. It's not quite like Taibo. It's not quite like body combat. I bring this. I feel like I bring this energy like no other, and empathy is a big part of it. And I feel like there's a story to be told in each class, and that's what makes it unique. So yeah, I think that's my 10-year mark from today. Saying it right now, 10 years from now, I want the whispers of Karadio globally.
Yeah, so there you're gonna make it a brand and pretty much
the echo. The echo. Yes, yes, it will be a brand. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be surprised. I'll be certified. So yeah.
Yes. You'll be one of the first once we get rolling on that.
Yeah. All right. So before we kind of end this episode, anything you'd like to say to listeners? Any shout outs you want to give out to people?
I would like to just say that, whether, you're an enthusiast or you're a martial artist or fitness, that stay true to who you are and live each day mind to body. Truly take in every moment. And, sometimes it's good to be selfish, to worry about your internal self. And that's one of my big part of Karadio is mind to body. Just stay mind to body, and with that, it opens the door to everything, to success. Yep. For you and for other people. If you fall in the lines of becoming an instructor, it's really rewarding to help other people, and then seeing those people help other people.
Definitely. Yeah, it's always a good goal. People helping people out. So yeah, you hear that, listeners? Definitely take that to heart. Really reach out to somebody, help them out, and of course, it's a chain reaction. So you have that person help, the person helps you, and they help other people. That's how we live in the community. All right. So okay, thank you very much, Todd, for joining me today. So of course, hopefully everything goes well for you, for your company, or for your studio, or for your program. So hopefully I can go down there and try it out.
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, you're more than welcome to come down anytime you want.
All right. So it's roughly 2-hour drive. I'm used to 2-hour drives. Yeah.
Man, we could do that. Once the snow and ice, we can get you in here and we'll roll it. You'll be my guest.
Oh yeah, I love a workout. Yeah.
All right. Sounds great.
Okay. For those who are tuning into my podcast, make sure you tune into my previous episodes on the bicbpradio.com, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And I will catch you next time for another episode here at the Kickpod Dojo. This is your sensei, TJ Williams, bowing you out.
Yes.